Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NRAS for SA Investment Property Seminar. Today we're going to be talking about investing in property and investing in an NRAS property. Now, NRAS stands for the National Rental Affordability Scheme. Now, normally with investing in property, it's for two main reasons. You want to reduce your income tax and you want to build your wealth. But with an NRAS property, it's a positive cash flow from day one. You're actually getting paid to own an investment property because of the large tax-free government incentives that the government gives us. But most importantly, it's helping the government because the government needs to find more affordable rental accommodations for thousands and thousands of Australians. So how does it actually work? You can buy an established property and generally you have a tenant that pays rent, you get a few small tax deductions from the government and you pay the most. You're paying the rent, you're paying the council rates, the insurance and so forth. Or you can buy a brand new house and land package. Again, you have the tenant paying the rent, you get a larger tax deduction from the ATO, but you're still forking out money out of your own pocket to own the investment property. Whereas with an NRAS property, you've got the tenant paying the rent, you've still got the large tax deductions you get from the government to help pay off the investment, but then you've got large state and federal government lump sums being paid to you to own the investment property. And guess what's missing? You. That's right. You're missing from the investment because the tenant, the ATO and the state government are paying it for you. Think of it this way. It's like having three silent partners investing in your property and you get all the benefits. You get to own the property and you've got three silent partners pay the investment off for you and you get all the benefits. So NRAS for SA, what makes us so different? Well, we're the specialists in property investing in South Australia. We have nearly 100% success rate in finance approvals and our motto is doing good is good business. So the questions, who, what, where, why, how, let's run through some of these questions. First of all, who? This is the Australian Government Initiative. NRAS is an Australian Government initiative because the government can see there's two main problems. One, they need to provide affordable housing for thousands of Australians, and two, they need to stimulate the building industry. There's 1 in 6 Australians are employed in the building industry, either indirectly or directly, and this is one way to stimulate that industry. So what do? We get $9,981 a year, tax-free for 10 years, and that increases each year with inflation. So that's over $120,000 over 10 years. And of course, it only applies to new homes. Why? Because the government needs to find affordable housing for thousands of Australians. There's a major shortfall across Australia. And as I said before, if we're building new homes, we're stimulating the building industry. If we build a new home, we're employing a plumber, a carpenter, an electrician, a bricklayer. And of course, all these people are employed. The money gets circulated around. The more the money is circulated around, the more the government collects it in income tax. So it's a huge benefit to the government to provide these benefits. So next question is where? Well, they're not in one particular area. There's not one big, huge ghetto. The government chooses particular suburbs, from Aldinga Beach to Gawler, from the coast to Murray Bridge. So there's particular suburbs, and they pick these suburbs because they have key economic factors. Those key economic factors are there's private enterprise pouring money into these suburbs, and there's governments through building roads, schools, childcare centres, hospitals and so forth. They're also putting money into these suburbs, and they're close to employment. So how many? There's only 50,000 across Australia, and at the moment 1,150 have been sold in South Australia. That's about a third of our allocation. So how much do we get? Well, for investors, we get 9,981, increasing each year with inflation. And what's in it for the tenants? Well, they get a 20% discount on the rent that they pay. But wait, there's more. You may have heard last week there was the state government announced a fantastic initiative. The South Australian government housing construction grant. That's $8,500 the state government will give you if you build a new home, because they want to stimulate the South Australian economy. They want to stimulate the building industry. But it's only available until the 30th of June. Now on top of that, because NRAS for SA, we believe in doing good is good business, we're going to top that up, an extra $1,500. So you've got $10,000 to go towards your investment property. So what's in it for me? How do I qualify? And what's a positively geared investment? Let's have an example of investing in a house and land package and an NRAS property. For example, if we buy a normal house and it costs us $403,000, including stamp duty and all the other costs, we charge rent. We get $18,750 rent a year, and that's our total income. The cost to own that investment property is just over $32,000. That's the mortgage payments, council rates, insurance, and so forth. And from there, we can claim quite substantial tax deductions, but there's a shortfall. At the end of the day, you need to pay $5,300 out of your own pocket to own an investment property. That's just over $100 a week. But let's have a look at an NRAS property. Same cost, $403,000. We charge 20% less in rent, so only getting $15,000. But then we've got $9,900 from the government. So we're getting just under $25,000 income for our rental property. It still costs us $33,000 to run the property, the council rates, mortgage payments and so forth. We get larger tax deductions because we're part of the NRAS scheme. And look down here, we're $1,851 a year better off than owning a normal investment property. In other words, we're getting paid to own an investment property. That's absolutely fantastic. Tell me what other investment where we have three silent partners, the tenant, the tax department and the state government and federal governments paying us to own an investment property compared to a normal investment property where we've got to find $5,000 a year out of our own pocket to pay for it. So how do I qualify? Well, quite simply, we're looking for people who have at least $100,000 in equity in their own home. Most people would have that. And of course, we're looking for a household income of $70,000 a year or more. So that could be a couple, maybe one earning 50, one earning 20, or a combined $70,000 a year income. So what are the benefits? It's cash flow positive. From day one, we're getting paid to own our investment property. Of course, we have capital growth. Our investment's going to grow in value. We've got a regular return on investment. Every year, the government's going to give us $10,000 a year over 10 years. That's fantastic. And we're going to get quality tenants. Who wouldn't want to be a tenant when you can pay 20% less rent on your own property? So what's in it for the tenant and how do they qualify? Well, the government's looking for low to moderately income earners, but they're essential services workers, they're policemen, they're firemen, they're nurses, they're armed personnel and so forth. These people get stationed in a particular area for maybe 2 or 3 years. They don't want to buy, but they want somewhere to live. And the government are trying to encourage us to build new houses to provide the rental accommodation that's needed for these people. Let's say there's somebody, a couple with one child. They need to earn under $75,000 a year to qualify to be a tenant in the NRAS scheme. So we're not talking about unemployed people getting these homes. These are skilled workers earning a very good income, then they can apply to be part of the NRAS scheme. At the moment, there's 1.5 million Australians that qualify, and in fact the waiting list is just under 175,000 people. That's 175,000 people that would want to rent your investment property. And most of all, it provides high occupancy rates. So how does it actually work? Well, the investor, they employ NRAS for SA, and NRAS for SA negotiates with the facilitator, they negotiate with the government to get all the benefits for you. They negotiate with the builder to find the right block of land and the right building for you, and it's built on time. And it's a full turnkey package. What do I mean by that? I mean, a full turnkey package is the morning you pick up the keys, that afternoon a tenant can move in. There's no nasty surprises. There's no, I need to paint this wall, or the landscaping's not done, or the driveway's not done. It's a full turnkey package. From there, NRAS will negotiate with a property manager who will find the right tenant. Now, you can do this yourself. You don't have to use NRAS for South Australia, but if you do it yourself, you're going to have the problems trying to deal with the council and get approval. You're going to have all the problems with the builder, trying to get the builder to build the right home at the right time. You're going to have the problems trying to find a good property manager. You're going to have the problems of trying to find a good tenant. But you're not going to get all the government benefits. You can't get the 8,500. You can't get the 9,900. So again, what are the benefits? We're reducing our income tax and of course increasing our wealth. But more importantly, it's a positive cash flow investment. From day one, you're getting paid to own an investment property. And more importantly, you're supporting the government's aim of providing affordable rental accommodation for thousands and thousands of Australians. So it's decision-making time. Remember, the age pension's just over $18,000 a year. Do you think you'd want to live just on the age pension in retirement? Or you could rely on your employer's superannuation and you'll be bitterly disappointed. Or you can start standing on your own 2 feet and start creating wealth for yourself. Start getting those benefits that the government is handing out. If you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Buy an investment property, buy an NRAS property for your children. Then you can comfortably spend their inheritance because you've already set them up for investment. If you have a self-managed super fund, we can provide NRAS properties in their self-managed super fund. The only questions from here, you really need to ask yourself, am I paying too much tax? Do I want $120,000 tax-free from the government? And do I qualify? Do I have $100,000 equity in my own home? And do I earn $70,000 a year income? You really should act now, because stock is limited. Please speak to one of the team, the NRAS team, to see whether investing in residential property is right for you.